This question, is it possible to experience God, is very relevant. It's FAQ. Everybody asks this. Especially in the West, this word experience is a big word. To experience cosmic consciousness, experience yourself, experience God. There's so many questions like this. In India, often people ask, can you show me God? It's almost a question of same category. So what's the answer? Well, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says directly, Raj Vidya Rajguhyam Pavitram Hi Tatuttamam Pratyakshvagamam Dharmayam Susukham Kartam Avyayam. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Pratyakshvagamam, Pratyaksh means see or experience. Krishna says in Gita that if you follow the process of Bhagavad Gita as actually delineated in the scriptures, in the Bhagavad Gita, you can see God or Krishna face to face. Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON, he also often used to say, you can see Krishna face to face. And then Prabhupada said, and then the magic begins. So scriptures, and there are so many examples. Krishna says, Putamad bhavam agata, bhavo jnana tapsa. Krishna says, many people have already experienced me, not just experienced but seen me directly. They also have a relationship with me. They actually had a talk with me also. So there are so many possibilities. It's not just experience. There are so many possibilities. You can play with God, you can dance with God, you can talk with Him, you can see Him, you can embrace Him, you can even kiss Him. That's a possibility. But when it comes to God, then all these possibilities, Srila Prabhupada used to say, first deserve and then desire. That's the point of possibilities. We have to prepare ourselves to meet these possibilities. That's the whole point there. There is another verse in Srimad Bhagavad Gita 10 chapter 11th verse, where Bhagavad Gita says, Tesham evanukam partam aham ajnanam jamtama nashyami atma bhavasto gyan deepena bhasvata. Krishna says, to those who I have my mercy, they can see me, they can experience me. So it's up to Him to actually give His experience. We are finite living entities. We are trying to approach infinite power, infinite absolute truth, infinite consciousness, if you like to put it like that, infinite being. So if infinite, actually it was said by one of our predecessors, Acharyas, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, if a finite being wants to capture infinite, it's impossible. You can't do that. But if infinite wants to descend into a finite, limited capacity, it can do, because that's infinite. And infinite has infinite number of possibilities to do things. So this is a philosophical way to put things, but easy way to put things is, if through the mercy of God we can experience Him. That's the whole idea there. Yameva virinshe tena labhya taseva mrite tanum syam. Upanishad says that. But now the question comes, how to get His mercy? That's the whole question. When God decides, then we can experience Him. Not that when we decide, then we can experience Him. That's not the whole game or show here. But the question is when He will decide. That's the whole point there. Will He decide on the judgment day to actually give His darshan to everybody? Okay, as a judgment day, get up everybody and I'll decide. That's not the point here we are talking about. That's another issue. But when does He decide? Is it a lottery system? So here's a lottery, this person I will give my experience, this person not. God is not a foolish person. It is said in Vedanta Sutra, there's a sutra or an aphorism in Vedanta, na prayojanatvat. When God does something, it is not without any purpose. In other words, when He does something, there is a reason and there is a deep purpose behind it and deep reason behind it. So when He wants to give His experience, or in other words, when He wants to come close to the soul, in the terms of language of mystics, and He wants to have proximity with the soul, whom he likes, then he gives his experience to the soul, to the degree that soul is in relationship with God. But the question is, how does God decide that this soul is in relationship with me? There has to be some kind of base. What can I say? Some kind of reasons behind that. Some kind of evidence to actually justify that this soul is near to me. I am near to this soul. Not for God, by the way. He knows how much that soul is pure and near to him. But to actually inform that particular soul that, okay, this is what is your position and this is what experience I am giving to you. Just like it's just like a student fails an exam. A teacher fails a student. Now, the student might argue with teacher, why did you fail me and this and that. The teacher then has to prove to the student and show to him that I failed you for a particular reason, and these are the reasons. You did mistake here, you did mistake here, you did mistake here, and that's why I failed you. And then that student will, probably peacefully sit. Otherwise, if he doesn't understand why he has failed, then he will just revolt. So, God has to tell us that to whom he is giving his own experience. And to do that, he has given some kind of symptoms in Bhagavad Gita. If these symptoms are there in you, and to the degree these symptoms are there, to that degree I will give my experience to you. So you can check, okay, if these symptoms are there, then I will have experience. To the degree I have, if you have 50% of the symptoms, 50% you will experience him, and rest you can't experience him. So what are the symptoms? Symptoms, Krishna says, Rag Dvesha Vimukhtaistu Vishayendriyescharan Atma Vashair Videhatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. So we were talking, God gives his experience through his mercy, and to whom he gives his mercy? These are the three symptoms. Rag Dvesha Vimukhtaistu. A person who is free of Rag and Dvesh, that means attachment and hatred. That's the first symptom. So you can check within yourself whether you are attached to these, to mundane things, or on the other side of the coin, do you hate something, likings and dislikings. Krishna says, to a devotee who is above likings and dislikings. I was hearing a memory of Shrutakirti Prabhu, one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and he said, actually it was interesting, he said that he was servant of Srila Prabhupada from 1972 to 1974 something, and probably in the end, but this period he was personal servant of Srila Prabhupada. So he said, I had so many desires. I personally had so many material desires, but I was serving a person who had absolutely no desire. He said, but that's okay. That didn't shock me. But then he said that it's so difficult to serve a person who has no desire. It's so difficult. He said, at least for me, I found it so difficult to a person who has absolutely no desire, and here I am who has so many desires and I have to serve him. He said, it's so difficult. So that's what Krishna is demanding from us. No material desires, no liking, no dislikings. If you're that kind of devotee, Krishna will give you experience. If you're 100% like Srila Prabhupada, no desires, material desires, you will have full experience of God. Talking, seeing, playing, smelling, even smelling God. That comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he raises the point, you can smell God. And that's a very intimate relationship, isn't it? So, but you have to be free of mundane desires. You have to be free of material desires. You have to be free of even the desire to live. That's also material desires. And that's there in, I think in Buddhism also, this kind of concept is there. But anyway, this is there in a Gaudiya Vaishnava literature. The desire to live, that also we have to forego. We have to experience God. I mean, people so easily say, can we experience God? Well, it's like almost saying, easily somebody might say, can I become Bill Gates? You can't just, everybody cannot become Bill Gates until unless he works hard and he has destiny. There are so many things behind that. You can just not put questions. So this is one of the qualification if you want to experience him. No material desires. Up to the point, no desire for self-preservation. That's how they put in philosophy. Okay, and the second symptom is Rag Dvesha Vimukta is to Vishaya Indriyescharan. The second point is, okay, no material desires, so what to do? Let's go in a cave and sit and meditate. No, Krishna says, no, wait. No material desires, but yet, Vishaya Indriyescharan, you have to be working within the society. You don't have to run away. You have no desires, but yet you are working. And that appears a contradiction. If I have no desire, why should I work? By working, I don't mean job. I don't mean earn money. By working, I mean means you are working in the society to help others, for the welfare of people. You have no desires for personal self, but you have all desires for helping others and to serve God. That's the whole point. How can you serve God? By helping others to become connected to Him. That's how you can serve Him. That's how you can help people. This is by the way, this is another issue. I don't want to talk here, but in one line, I'm going to put it straightforward. You can't help people by giving them food or money, and this is all philanthropic nonsense. We don't believe in this. You can help people by actually bringing them near God. That's all. So the second thing is, first point, no selfish desires, no mundane desires. Second point is, okay, you have a lot of desires to serve God and to serve others. Now these are two qualifications. You're not an inert, foolish person meditating in a cave. Krishna doesn't like that. He says it's foolishness. Second qualification. So a person might seem very active, proactive in fact, helping others, doing all kind of things, but he has no desire for himself. That is a devotee. You read Srila Prabhupada's life history, founder Acharya ISKCON, and you can see how much active he was. Prabhupada said, I'm 25 hours active. It's not, and so many people used to come and meet him, and they used to say, what you're doing, you're just sitting in the temple, worshipping. Prabhupada said, you come here and you do like us. That's a challenge. You are working 8 hours, we are working 25 hours. That's what Prabhupada said. So this is a second qualification, to experience God. And the third qualification is Atma Vashair Videha Atma. That means Atma Vashair means self-control. Atma means self, by the way, self-control or sense control. And Videha Atma means goal. So the third qualification is you're fixed on your goal of self-realization. You're not bewildered by ideas of this material world. Some person might say something, you have to do this, some person, you have to do that, and you have to do this. Forget it, we don't have to do anything, we have to serve God, that's what we have to do. Anything that helps in serving God, that's what we will be doing. That's goal, that is complete focus on goal. That's the third qualification. And for that, you need to have sense control and mind control, otherwise how will you focus on goal? That's a preliminary qualification. The third qualification is your mind is completely controlled and focused on your goal of self-realization. Third qualification. And if you find these kind of qualifications and symptoms in yourself or in anybody, then you can safely say prasadam adhigacchati. This person will attract mercy of God, and he can then experience God. To the degree he has these symptoms, to that degree he can experience, see, touch, smell, embrace, kiss. These are all, these are all in hierarchy. You can feel him, okay, this is the lowest thing. You have some kind of symptoms. You can see him. When you develop more symptoms, you can see him. You can talk to him still higher. You can embrace him still higher. You can kiss him still higher. You can play with him. It goes like that. There's a whole science behind it. There are various levels of rasas. I don't want to go in this, but the whole point is these questions. The point is these questions people put so easily, as if asking, "Can I buy an ice cream?" No, it's not like that. You give $1 and you buy ice cream. No, this is what is propaganda by most of these New Age gurus. You can experience God, and people come and say, "We are experiencing God." People used to go to Srila Prabhupada in 1970s when he started his movement, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and so many hippies used to come. They were high on drugs, and they would say, "We experienced God." And then I think one person, he came to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He said, "I experienced God." So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, "Did you experience Maya?" He said, "No." Then you didn't experience God. So we should not take lightly. 10th chapter, 11th verse, and 9th chapter, 2nd verse. So you read these 3 verses, link them up, and then you can have a proper answer to your question. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.